So hello and welcome everybody. My name is Patty Murray and I will be your host and moderator for today's webinar being offered by FamilyKind. How certified parent education classes help advance court cases and improve family outcomes. FamilyKind is a nonprofit organization that empowers children, parents, and couples before, during, and after separation or divorce. We are able to bring this peer-to-peer webinar series to you free of charge due to the generosity of our two sponsors, SoberLink and Our Family Wizard. SoberLink is a comprehensive alcohol monitoring system that combines a breathalyzer with wireless connectivity. As the experts in remote alcohol monitoring, SoberLink is the only system with facial recognition, tamper detection, and real-time results to provide documented proof of sobriety that promotes child safety and peace of mind. Our Family Wizard is a comprehensive app that enables parents to conduct all of their co-parenting communication on a single platform. Powerful tools document parenting time, reimbursement requests, payments, exchanges, and more. This means less conflict and more energy for parents to focus on their children. Just briefly, I'd like to tell you a little bit about today's faculty. Sherry Bornstein has more than 30 years of experience as a litigator, mediator, and collaboratively trained attorney. She created the co-parenting communication program Good Talk for Parents at FamilyKind to improve co-parenting communication. Sherry is the former director of FamilyKind's Parent Services and a member of FamilyKind's Advisory Council, and she is of counsel at the law firm of John Yakos. Liz Vaz is the owner and principal attorney at Vaz Law, located in Hauppauge. She is a divorce and family attorney with extensive litigation experience, focusing on the collaborative process and mediation. Liz is FamilyKind's parent education class legal education provider in Suffolk County. And she is the founder and president of Long Island Collaborative Divorce Professionals and a member of the New York State Council on Divorce Mediators. What we're going to do is Sherry and Liz have a presentation that they're going to present to you, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end where you can ask your questions. If you want to send in questions throughout the presentation, you can certainly do that using the chat feature, and we will get to as many questions as we can at the end. So now it is my great pleasure to turn things over to Sherry and Liz.
Thanks, Patty. I'm Sherry Bornstein, and I am a matrimonial and family law attorney with over 30 years of experience. I practiced in Connecticut in my own firm for 26 years before relocating to New York. After serving as FamilyKind's Director of Parent Services, I returned to private practice and joined the law firm of John Yakos PC here in New York, offering legal services to clients through mediation, collaborative practice, and litigation as necessary. I teach the legal portion of the Certified Parent Education Program for FamilyKind, as does my colleague, Liz Vaz. Liz, share your background with the folks on today's webinar.
Well, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Patty for that introduction. And mostly thank you to FamilyKind for really implementing this unique and meaningful class for parents who are going through divorce and separation. I'm honored to be speaking with my colleague, Sherry, in this first class in a series of webinars on professional talks that FamilyKind is going to be offering. My name is Liz Vaz. I'm a divorce attorney and mediator, and my office is in Hauppauge, New York. I've been involved with FamilyKind for many years, for about 2 years now, and I helped to launch the Suffolk County Parent Education monthly classes, which have been met with great enthusiasm, and they've been very successful here. I've taken my own experience of my parents' traumatic divorce, and I made it my mission to educate families on a better way forward. And part of that improved path forward includes parents being educated about how to effectively co-parent after they separate. And this is where the FamilyKind parent education classes come in.
A certified parent education class provides separating and divorcing parents with information to help children adjust during this uncertain time. It explains how children of different developmental ages experience separation and divorce. It utilizes positive co-parenting communication skills and focuses on reducing stress on children during these challenging times. And it also provides tips on self-care for parents, alerting them to the fact that it is important for them to be the best versions of themselves. In this webinar, we will be discussing with all of you why it is important that parents attend a parent education class and the benefits that they'll receive, and why it's crucial that divorce and family law attorneys send their clients to these classes. In Connecticut, parent education has been mandatory since 1994. In all my years, I never heard a lawyer regret a client participating in the class. In fact, quite to the contrary. Let's cover why now.
So why should you tell your client to attend a FamilyKind parent education class? Well, parents experiencing separation, divorce, and challenges to co-parenting endure significant stress as they first begin and as they move throughout the legal process. For most parents, some of the stress comes from navigating these uncharted waters with a lack of accessible and credible information and support. As we all know, the stress levels that come with divorce can mount quickly, and they can even escalate uncontrollably. Well, that's what happened in my own parents' divorce. I can clearly remember how real the stress and the uncertainty was during this time for my parents and for me and my sister. Both of my parents expressed real fear of the unknown as they both struggled to communicate with us children about what was going on. The lack of communication skills truly set them up for failure to co-parent effectively, or actually at all. The quality of the relationship between the adults who are going through the divorce has a direct impact on the children, and increased stressors can be detrimental to that relationship. Stress levels impact how parents process information as their lives transition from what they knew to a place in which they're unfamiliar and about which they feel scared and angry. Hearing consistent information in different ways from multiple sources can facilitate absorption of that critical information for the adults and for the children. It's very important to understand that the parent education educators do not dispense legal advice or therapy in the class, and this statement is repeated and emphasized several times throughout the class. Parents are routinely redirected to speak with their individual attorneys if the information that they seek goes beyond the education provided in that class, or if they want to check in about something that they heard in the class. The class is separated into two sections. The first covers the legal information, and the second section covers the communication skills that are needed for effective co-parenting. The FamilyKind legal educators most often remain in the class until the completion. Many parents are reluctant to attend the class at first, and they often come in feeling nervous and unsure. But more often than not, they leave feeling informed and armed with useful skills that they can use in their day-to-day lives. I actually had a gentleman specifically come up to me during one of the breaks and tell me how reluctant and downright resentful he was for being required to take the class. I feel like a lot of times many people feel that way when they first come in. But this gentleman said that by listening to the educators and to the other parents, it gave him a new perspective into his situation. And that new perspective, which we can all use, can only help him in his journey forward. During the classes, the parents receive an OCA Parents Handbook with a foreword that is written by Chief Justice Janet DiFiore, who reminds parents that while they're not always going to remain a couple, they will forever be parents. That parent handbook is available on the Office of Court Administration's website, and it contains a lot of information that's helpful to the parents. The attorneys can also access this handbook on their website so that both the attorney and the client are on the same page about the information that's covered in the class. Parents learn the general definitions of legal custody, physical custody, the factors that are considered by the court for a child's best interest, and options for moving forward in their process. The parent education class provides information to the parents in a simple and concrete manner, and parents have a better understanding of the terminologies used in their legal matter, and it can help to demystify a process that's very scary to many. As I mentioned, the second part of the parent education class focuses on skill building to help reduce parental conflict which generally impacts the children for the rest of their lives.
I have a story about skills. Parents learn how to use I statements in the class and identify their feelings when communicating with a co-parent. And in practicing one exercise, the issue was just the parents discussing a return time. And one of the parents said, I feel 7 o'clock is too late. And he stopped himself and he stepped back and he said, I get it, 7 o'clock is not a feeling. So when we FamilyKind were looking to open everybody's mind about parent education, we participated in the JROPE committee, Judicial Restoration of Parent Education. And one of my tasks was to gather surveys completed by Connecticut parents who participated in the parent education program. And those surveys revealed general satisfaction rates of 90% or higher with the class. In my prior role of Director of Parent Services when I was working at FamilyKind, I reviewed parents' evaluations post-participation, and they too overwhelmingly revealed positive feedback, even if the parents had already resolved their custody issues. And what I started to share with clients is participating in a class is like parental hygiene. My analogy is that it's like dental hygiene. You don't stop brushing your teeth after you've had a cavity filled. You continue brushing your teeth to keep up good dental hygiene. And the skills that parents learn in this class are the same. They are skills to use over and over again to make sure that the co-parenting relationship stays as healthy as possible. So why should lawyers send their clients to a parent education class? Again, and we reiterate, the class is not meant to take the place of your roles as legal counsel and zealous advocate. The class provides a place for parents to learn basic information which can set expectations for your clients as they begin their legal process. Long after these clients leave your offices, they will remain a family, albeit reconfigured. The classes help your clients understand that divorce is a family transition, hopefully the first of something new that will work better for the family. At the end of one class, a father said to us, I wish you could make my child's mother take this class. Well, we can't, but you can encourage your clients to do so. Parents will hear information in the class. They'll hear it from you during the course of your representation, and they will likely hear it from the court. Your role, again, which is not intended to be substituted by the class, is to take the individual facts of each client's case and advise the client accordingly. Please be aware that parents are prohibited from participating in the same class, even if they want to. And that's because of the OCA rules, but not to worry. Our curriculum is so well developed at FamilyKind, it doesn't matter whether somebody takes a class 1 month in Manhattan and the same class in Manhattan in the next month, or one class in Manhattan and another class in Brooklyn. The curriculum is consistent. We can also admit a parent and a significant other within a relationship, or a grandparent if it's appropriate in the same class. Screening at the time of registration is an important part of the process. The person performing intake is conscious of the impact of domestic violence on the co-parenting relationship. We also recite several times that parents are told to take what's appropriate for their situation. Parents must pre-register to make sure attendance is appropriate and safe in the class. Also, please note that participation is encouraged for divorcing and never married, separating parents because they share children.
So regardless of the process that your client chooses to resolve the issues surrounding divorce or the custodial issues, consider recommending participation in a certified class early in the process. Your job will be easier for doing so. Let's go over some concrete reasons why. Judges will love to see that the attorneys are working with clients to encourage settlement, and the judges always want to see that the parents are doing what is in the best interest of the children. Attending this class places the parent in a favorable light before the judge. And if there's an attorney for the child involved in the case, or sometimes more than one, that attorney will be pleased that the parents are focused on learning how to better communicate with each other. This benefits the attorney for the children's clients directly.
And communication between attorney and client can be significantly improved as the parent gains a deeper understanding of the terms of the structure of the courts. Parents sometimes find it easier to ask questions in this more relaxed and less formal setting. They're assured that all conversations are held in strict confidence. Parents may be embarrassed to ask questions of their attorney for fear of asking them to repeat themselves. In the class, parents have the opportunity to ask again. The camaraderie among parents can be helpful too, as they bolster each other to ask more questions or listen for the answers to each other's questions. This is obviously for the in-person class. We have seen parents exchange contact information after the class to continue the conversation. I've also seen men and women respectfully interact and even accept and acknowledge different perspectives. Parents learn that they are not the only ones who are experiencing this family transition. Often, the communication techniques that parents learn in the skills portion of the class can be helpful when implemented correctly. Attorneys will appreciate how the skills can be used by the client to diffuse a stressful situation or disarm another high conflict parent.
Now, what do the classes actually look like? FamilyKind has in-person classes, usually meeting about once a month in a given county. Yet with the new health pandemic, the in-person classes have been temporarily suspended. The good news is that FamilyKind has been approved to offer an online version of the parent education class. Parents can participate in the online class during times that are most convenient for them, from their mobile phone or other electronic devices. They can start the class and return to their learning when their schedules allow. While not a substitute for a group setting, the online classes offer parents the same skills as the in-person class and can meet their needs if participation in an in-person class is not feasible, especially right now. I want to emphasize here that the online class options will make it easier for many parents to participate in the classes between work, travel, childcare responsibilities. The FamilyKind program uses the same excellent curriculum in both the in-person and online formats. So even if one parent takes the live FamilyKind class and the other takes the class online, both parents will receive the same information. During this time of COVID, the courts will approve completion of that online class and will fully accept that the course has been taken and the requirements satisfied. FamilyKind also provides additional resources for parents depending on the needs of the family. And much of that information can be found on the FamilyKind website, and we encourage everyone to look at that.
Thanks, Liz. Now let's talk about fees. The fees for the in-person class are $100 with a sliding scale to those who qualify. If the court ordered participation and a client is found by a court to be indigent, the class is free of charge. The in-person classes are offered at times throughout the year in Spanish. The online class is $95, and as well, if a court has found a client to be indigent, the class is free. The online class is offered in Spanish and in English. If any of you are mediators or collaborative law professionals, we encourage that you ask both of your clients or the mediator's clients to take the class at the beginning of the process. That way, both parents have the same information when starting their process. As I mentioned, I practiced for many, many years in Connecticut, and requirement of the automatic orders was that parents take the class within about 60 days of commencing an action. And frankly, I'm going to tell you that I took that automatic order for granted. I never took a class, and I think it's important and recommend that you know what your clients are learning in this class.
And I agree with you, Shari. When I first took the class before I was certified to teach it and in the legal portion, I was really blown away by the information, the professionalism that was offered, and really the response that the participants gave. They were all very, very impressed with the information that they were receiving and the skills they were learning. So I encourage all professionals, whether you are helping your client with a litigated case, collaborative case, or a mediation case, just as Shari said, the sooner in the process your clients can take this class, the better off they will be.
Thanks, Liz. Some closing comments before we move to the question and answer section of the presentation. Don't forget, FamilyKind offers other services: mediation, parenting coordination, co-parenting communication, and coaching. If you have questions, check out the FamilyKind website or call FamilyKind. We're also going to leave our contact information up, so if you have questions, both Liz and I are very open to talking with you about why your clients would benefit from taking this class. If you want to support the mission of FamilyKind, you can certainly contact FamilyKind directly. So we want you to know what your clients are learning. If you would like to take a class, you can do so free of charge. Please email your name. Be sure to highlight your email address, provide your telephone number, and you'll receive a passcode so that you can take either an in-person class when we are able to offer in-person classes again, or the online class, and we welcome your participation. So let's get to the question and answer section of this webinar.
Yes, so thank you everybody for sending in your questions using the chat. Continue to do so, and we have a bit of time, and so we'll get to as many of the questions as possible. One person was asking if the PowerPoint will be available after the webinar, and yes, we can send a PDF of the PowerPoint out to you in a follow-up email. We also had a question if you could go into a little bit more detail about some of the parenting and co-parenting skills and strategies that are actually taught in the class.
So Shari, would you like to take that?
Sure. So as we discussed, parents practice using I statements. They also work on active listening. And granted, it is a small piece of their time, and they are encouraged to practice using these skills when they leave the class.
Right, so I'll follow up on that. And the real beauty of the class is the communication skills, right? So we're never going to teach people how to parent, but what we really focus is the communication between the two of them. How the two parents communicate really affects the way the children respond to the situation. Really removing the adult situation out of the children's hands is vital. And those skills, as in the class, you see it as we practice them, people really see. It's very eye-opening about, wow, I really can effectively speak to the co-parent. And there's also skills in there to speak to the children differently. And it really is very, very helpful to them.
Great. And so it came up earlier, you know, that sometimes when we have an attorney saying that sometimes when I have a client and it hears me suggest that he or she take the class, their concern is that the other parent is actually not going to take the class. So it probably won't be useful. Can you address this, that it's still useful even if only one parent takes the class?
Yeah, you know, I've learned over the years that sometimes it takes a little bit of a twist to set things on a different path. And if the other parent is refusing and there's no court order for the parents to take the class, even voluntarily doing so and learning the skills can sometimes change the dialogue to move it from a high conflict engagement to something that is a little bit more disarming in terms of the dialogue between the parents.
Yeah, and if I could just follow up on that, one of the things that we speak to directly to the participants about, the parents in the room, is there are often times when parents say, I can use this communication skill, but what if the other parent doesn't? What we always emphasize is you can only take control and ownership of your own actions, right? So you sign up for the class, you come in there with an open mindset, and you use these skills, it really will help, even if the other parent chooses not to participate. But there are often times when the other parent will see those skills being reflected, see the other parent using different techniques. And again, just as Sherry said, it might sort of, shift their mindset, and they might be more willing to take it.
Leslie, there you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, yeah, this is a great presentation, and I agree with those comments. Another thing is, sometimes since you're an attorney, you want your client to take it, you could reach out to the other attorney if the other parent is represented and discuss why you think it might be important for both your clients to take it. Of course, at separate times, but as Liz and Sherry shared, it's very beneficial even if one client takes it. But that's just a tip to maybe try to get both to engage.
Okay. And we've had a couple of questions in terms of how long is the class, how many sessions it is. So if you can speak to the structure a little bit.
Sure, it's 4.5 hours. It's a one-time class, and upon completion of the class, parents will receive a certificate of completion that the parents should hold on to. And if it was a court-ordered participation, I recommend that people make copies of it and bring it to court so the parent can let a judge know that completion was accomplished. And if it was voluntary, it's still important to provide it to anybody else who might be in a decision-making position, or to say, look I did this. I think it's really helpful. Why don't you think about doing it as well?
And then we had some questions about the handbook offered by OCA. And I know, Leslie, you wanted to add a little bit towards that. And then we also had a question about, is it offered in Spanish, the OCA handbook?
Right. So I see Gary Schaefer supplied the link for it, which is great. And yeah, I don't believe it's offered in Spanish, the actual handbook. I don't think the court has translated that. But I do say that this is great for you attorneys or any family professionals to look at this handbook to see what your clients will be receiving. But just the handbook is not a substitute for the class. So I would say you can look at it, share things, but it's really vital that the people take the class, and as part of it, they get this handbook because it's so intense, all the information they're getting, and they're able to keep this and review it at their leisure.
Great. Somebody is asking where was the link provided. It's in the chat, but I'll also send it to everybody in a follow-up email with a few other points from today's event. We also have somebody asking, what is the best way for somebody to refer parents to the class?
So, oh, sorry, Sherry.
Go ahead, Liz.
Start with just one suggestion from something that I had used, right? There's many different ways to suggest this to your clients. And really, I know that we spoke about it during the presentation, but depending on the process that the couple is choosing, is it mediation? Is it collaborative divorce? Is it some kind of negotiated settlement? Or is it litigation? Because oftentimes when it's a litigated matter, there is a court order where the judge says you're required to go attend parent education classes. But as an attorney, I have suggested it to mediating parents who were pretty high conflict. And while nobody at first, I think, wants to hear that they need a parent education class, after I explained to them the benefits of it and gave them the link to look it up, they were much more interested, and they were very influenced by the fact that I was teaching it, A, and B, by my endorsement. by me saying, this is not something, again, everything there is confidential. So there's nothing that you're going to walk into the class and feel that you're being put on the spot. This is, and again, now with the online version, it's the same thing. You can do it confidentially in the privacy of your own home at your own schedule. And I encourage people all the time to use it. And for the most part, they are pretty receptive.
I want to follow up on what you said, Liz. I agree completely. And I think the message from attorneys could be, this isn't to teach you how to parent your children. This is to help you improve your communication skills so you can reduce conflict that is so harmful to children. So it's not to teach people how to be a better parent. It's not about diapering. It's not about discipline. It's about helping parents through this time that they are going through, because, you know, that analogy that we use when you go on the airplane, you're instructed to put on your mask before helping someone else. Same thing here, helping parents help their children.
And I'm so glad you know, both of you shared your thoughts on that. It's so true, because the basic idea of this is to help parents keep their children out of their conflict. And with that, we give them information, tools, strategies to help them do that, because we know that's what parents want to do. And we know that when kids are caught in the conflict, it's toxic to them. However, when we can support them and not catch them in parental conflict, they can do just fine. Divorce isn't a risk factor. As you said earlier, Shari, it's a new way of configuring your family, and it's often better. But how are they going to get through this process in the healthiest way?
So we've just gone a minute past the official end time. We are going to stay on just a little bit longer because we are getting a lot of questions. If you can stay on, great. If you need to move on to your next meeting, that's okay. We'll record this and share it with you. Can you talk very briefly, could you talk about if there's any geographic restriction to the in-person classes once they become available again?
There are providers, certified providers that are listed on the OCA website. In some of the more rural areas, it would be a great opportunity for parents to take the online class if they can't get to a central location where the class is being offered by a certified provider.
Right. And as a certified provider, like FamilyKind is, you, even if your one party lives in Georgia and the Georgia court said you must go to a parent ed class, taking our in-person certified class would be, they would be given credit for that. And I just wanted to, I saw something in this chat. The online program that we offer is given in Spanish. The question was about the handbook, but I just wanted to clarify that. I know Liz and Shari had shared that, but just the question about Spanish.
And also, I have a question. Is the online class pre-recorded or is that live?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
Is it going to be pre-recorded and then people just watch it on demand, or do they have to attend it live?
No, they can download, they can sign up and they can download and they can stop and start it when it's convenient for them. They don't have to do it. They don't have to complete the class in one sitting, which is a real opportunity for meeting other demands that parents have before them.
Right. And then just one final question. Do you have any, I'm sure you have anecdotal information, but is there any statistical information about how the parenting classes are impacting the resolution of custody cases?
We don't have anything specific. I think JROPE is going to be interested in providing or looking to provide that information. the pilot of mandatory parent ed is happening in, Leslie, is it 7 counties right
Yes,
now?
in New York State.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're hoping to have some information when there ultimately is a review. Again, as I mentioned, it wasn't necessarily an analysis of whether cases resolve more quickly because parents have taken the class in Connecticut, but parents reported 90% satisfaction rate. So I would like to believe that that has rolled over into how parents are communicating and how they are taking seriously shielding their children from conflict that they have.
Well, great. We'll have to leave it there as the final point. And I want to thank everybody for attending today and for adding to a really robust discussion. So we appreciate that. I want to thank Liz and Sherry and Leslie for adding your expertise and your insights. So I think people really appreciated that. And I also want to thank our sponsors again, SoberLink and Our Family Wizard. If it wasn't for their support, we wouldn't be able to provide this programming for you. Our next peer-to-peer webinar will be on Monday, June 15th at 1 p.m. And so we encourage you to attend that one. And as always, if you have any questions about anything we covered or any other services that FamilyKind offers, we encourage you to reach out to us. We have the phone number there, our info@familykind.org, and you can visit our website, familykind.org. So thank you, everybody, and have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.